cupcakes. Not as delectable, but okay. He knows bills like I know pills. Michigan Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, he's so cool. The pillow sleeps on the other side of Thaddeus McCotter. Well, he's the halt of my own age. Who am I to say? Hey, Congressman, what happens if Brown wins? What happens to health care reform?
Well, the Democrats are already saying that if Mr. Brown wins the Senate seat, they're going to do everything they can to delay his taking office and being able to vote in the Senate. They've also talked about how they're going to continue to push for this regardless and may go through a process which is called reconciliation. It's rather long, it's rather boring, it's like your Greg logs. And so I'll spare you the details.
That was so unnecessary.
But the reality is they would only need 51 votes to pass it. In short, you're watching a very desperate party try to defy the American public regardless of an election's outcome.
Hey, Congressman, after the show, can you give my thanks to the TV repairman who allowed you to use his shop for the backdrop?
Don't make fun of my guys here in Detroit. Yeah, Detroit, baby.
It's interesting. It looks like I buy like a neon bar sign for my Foxy bar just for the first year. Maybe he has another year to fill up that suit. Congressman, last word to you. I want to ask you, what if he wins his seat? What will the Democrats do with health care? Will they just say, okay, the Senate already passed it, and they'll use that so they don't have to go back to another vote and possibly lose?
No, Greg, they're determined to get this done by hook or by crook as quickly as they possibly can. So, again, you're going to see them continue to defy the American public. They do not want to hear that America wants real health care reform, not a government-run system, and they're just going to plow ahead regardless.
All right. Well, I think he's framed it well. Hey, Congressman, what do you think political ideology in the campuses is so lopsided?
Well, I think a large part of it is that people are pushed away. First, Greg, I got to admit that I'm shocked to learn that the professor who taught me how to reconcile Marxism and Christianity was, in fact, a liberal. This is news to me. The reality is that they tend to gravitate towards it. They tend to be more abstract in their thinking, less practical, and they chase away dissenting points of view, as Mary pointed out. This is not a case of where Republicans or conservatives are not attracted to the intellectual realm or to the arts or elsewhere. But all you have to do is talk to people like Robert Davi or others that have come out as conservatives in Hollywood, seen what's happened to them. It is no different and perhaps even worse on the campuses.
You know, Bill, I got to tell you, Congressman, the guy was pissed off. He felt embarrassed and humiliated. He didn't want to get up because he felt like they were saying that he was a potential pedophile. You can't blame him for this, can you?
Well, first, I think that some of the more poignant remarks came from Sad Puppy on this whole incident. But I can see where the gentleman would be upset by this, especially if many members of the people who were on the plane, the passengers, were unaware of this policy of British Airways. And to see this man be asked to stand up for those types of reasons, they could infer the wrong message about him. I can understand his anger. I can understand why the situation has raised such fire, especially, again, with Sad Puppy.
Yeah, with Sad Puppy.
You know, I get to see it.
Hey, Congressman, I want to ask you about Hugo Chavez and his statements about America. Didn't he just say what basically all left-wingers think, that we are basically interested in occupying Haiti and undermining their already sad, devastated country?
Well, I think there's a more nefarious purpose to what Mr. Chavez has said, is the United States has always tried to provide humanitarian relief to disasters such as this. We're a great and good nation. We have provided such relief. We've helped millions of people, tens of millions of people throughout the world, hundreds of millions. And Mr. Chavez is trying to do everything he can to denigrate our efforts because he knows that when the United States acts out of such a compassion for their fellow human beings and does provide such relief, it actually shows what a reprobate that little scumbag is.
No, it's true. Devastators. No.
Congressman, you said that the Democrats are already talking about delaying Brown taking his seat if he wins. The New York Times is now reporting that if Brown wins, the White House and Democratic congressional leaders are preparing to ask House Democrats to approve the Senate version of the health care bill, which would then send the measure directly to President Obama for his signature. How good are you at ping pong?
Well, not very good. The hand-eye coordination shot. I'm aging gracelessly.
No.
But I would hope that they would be too so they don't pass the thing.
All right. Your mouth can be used as an easy bake oven. Michigan Congressman Thaddeus McCotter. He knows legislation like I know constipation. I'm packed up right now, people. And comedian Jim, I might add. Hey, Congressman, isn't this kind of selfish? I mean, why not adopt? There's so many kids that could be adopted instead of creating one of your own at 60, don't you think? Adopt a 10-year-old.
Well, Greg, I'm still disturbed by the video of the hockey-playing bear that would not crash the net and do what it takes to win. Here in Hockey Town, we would run him out on a rail.
You are so right on that.
No. What he says is important. I don't like Roman Polanski.
Hey, Congressman, there's a study out that says that the film industry is one of the largest polluters in all of California. So isn't this guy being a hypocritical jackass by making a pro-environmental or a pseudo-profile pro-environmental movie while all the special effects and all the catering trucks just pollute the earth?
Well, I think Jim's right to a certain extent, obviously. Just because you're successful in the arts does not necessarily mean that your political opinion should hold sway or have any real credence given to them by people. I also think Bill's right in the sense that the person who wrote the review is really one who you should question. Confusing. Clearly, what movie which is supposed to be escapist entertainment with an eco-terrorist recruiting tool. And finally, Greg, really what you're starting to see, if you consider what you saw in the beginning with a left-wing media person saying it was okay to cheat to win, running down their opponents as bastards, which my parents would dispute, I think. And when you see this man talking about eco-terrorism, what you're seeing is a continued attempt on the left to have the ends justify the means, be able to do what you want. And then I think that this is something that, if it's allowed to continue over a period of time, will be difficult. But on the spur of the moment, I'm inclined to agree with Jim. He's a director. That's wonderful. Now go make some good films.
All right. We got to move on. Thank you, Congressman McCotter. Always a pleasure having you on the show. I shall talk to you soon via some kind of internet capability, I imagine. I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know either. Coming up next, mail time. Leave, and I'll moat.